Can I see who's invested in property? Right now at the moment. Who's invested in student accommodation? Paul? Nice and high. Let's give a big round of applause to Paul as one of our key investors. So my name is Anton and I'm the founder and CEO of Empire Wealth. And what we do is we help clients to create and scale their property portfolios through strategic investment planning, tailor-made strategies for the long term, and sort of what I've developed over the last few years myself. So just maybe quickly a little bit about my story is quite early in my career I wanted to invest in property, right? And within about 3 years from starting, I had 5 properties, but I was working at a car wash on weekends to pay my holding costs, right? Reason for that being is because I wasn't equipped at that time with the knowledge and the skills to become a successful investor. That was roughly about 8 years ago, and today I'm doing about R500 million in developments right at the moment. Wow. My first investment was a plot in Langebaan. Holding costs, couldn't afford it. Then I bought a property off plan, and like they say, the rest is history. So the single biggest thing that contributed to me building my empire from scratch, and also my 20 businesses funded from my property portfolio, was through the knowledge and skills that I've developed over time. So what I would quickly like to do today, and Rita is going to go into the details of this property in more detail as well. So I just want to give a bit of an education around how you should approach and look at a property deal and an investment when you're doing one. So let's use this one for example. The first thing that we did is we identified the deal, which Rita and TJ did, because as an investor, a core skill is not to find a good deal, but who knows the answer? Not find a good deal, make a good deal, right? If you equip yourself as an investor through knowledge and skills to make a good deal, you will become a success. So this building was an old police archive office, right, which the owner rented out to the police or to the SAPS. It was zoned GB4, which meant it had boarding rights, right? Typically what you would find for a, what do you call it, backpackers lodge. So it had the rights to highly densify the property in terms of residential accommodation. Then what we did is we submitted the offer, right? So firstly we spotted this opportunity because of the zoning, which wasn't utilized, and that's where we could unlock the value or make a good deal, right? Then we submitted an offer to purchase with a due diligence clause. So there's no such thing as a standard contract, right? And you always want to put a due diligence clause into your agreement. So what a due diligence clause says to the seller is, I want to buy this property for X amount, but I want 60 days to do a feasibility study. Look at the property itself, look at the structure, whatever the case might be. So what we did with this deal is we've submitted an offer to purchase with a due diligence clause. And within that time, we obviously looked at the property in terms of the feasibility, running the numbers if we were to convert it. Through Ronaldo from my partner in Rise Architecture and Rise Projects, we did a site development plan. So the site development plan was obviously looking at what can we do with the property, what's it going to cost, and then once we knew the cost, we worked out what would the income be, right? In this case, placing 32 students at a bed rental rate. So the actual income yield on this property after we spent about 2.5 million to buy it, plus about another R1 million to refurb it. So in other words, we're in for about 3.5, 3.7. The rental income is going to be about 120,000 Rand a month. You can clap hands. That's roughly a 42% gross rental yield. And the only reason we were able to put this deal together was because of Rita and TJ and Ronaldo and myself and the knowledge and skills that we've developed as investors. So if you go away with anything, the one thing from me today is go out there, read books, attend events, speak to the professionals, surround yourself with a number of people, that can teach and train you. Another thing I didn't mention, which was probably the first thing I should have said, is deals like this don't come onto Property 24. Not even Gumtree, not even OLX, right? You need to be networked in the industry. Estate agents, body corporates. A key thing that I do in finding deals is I have relationships with body corporates. They know who of the residents or owners or tenants are distressed in the building, right? Because they see the levies. Are these guys paying levies on time or whatever the case might be? And they'll also usually be the first people to know when someone does want to sell a property within a building because they are distressed, right? And another key thing is that you always want to find out the reason behind why the person is selling. And that's usually very difficult when you're working with an agent on an opportunity. But that's where you need to develop the skill to ask the right questions, right? You won't know how many deals I've bought for probably around 50% of market value because the seller was distressed and he had a massive outstanding levy account, or he was it was outstanding on his bond, and his stuff was about to be repossessed. So the offers I then submitted was, I'll give you, let's say, X rand, let's say the guy needed 20,000 rand, on the day that you sign the contract, selling it to me for about half of market value, right? And I'm just using figuratively amounts, right? We don't want to do in people and get people out of properties misusing their circumstances, but it's a win-win for both parties if you help someone solve their financial need. These guys are about to get sequestrated, right? You know what the impact is of sequestration, where you help the guy to settle his immediate outstanding debt in exchange then for purchasing the property for him, which further frees him up financially, right? Okay. So let's go back to this deal, and where I said we then completed it, or we offered a due diligence. We put a due diligence in the contract, did the numbers, did the feasibility, plus, because the numbers worked, we also raised investment before the due diligence term was finished, right? Because it was such a great deal, we then partnered with other investors to come into this deal with us in order for them to also benefit financially from it, right? Hence the reason for being here today, and like I said, what M5 Property Addicts do, their skill, their network and their skill is to find the good deals. Okay, so what are we doing with this property? We're doing a minor refurb, roughly of about $1 million rand. Sorry, I've got my development that's stuck in my head. About R1 million, which is going to create this substantial income for us. Another thing is, we always invest where there's a demand. Who thinks buying a house and renting that out in Baldwin is a good investment? In Baldwin, as an example. I'm really glad no one is putting up their hands, because an investment in Baldwin is a good investment, but it's not a good cash flow investment, right? Baldwin is exclusive. The values will continue to increase, probably in double digits. But from an income point of view, is we want to invest in assets that pay us as property investors, right? And that's the quickest and the shortest route to getting financially independent. And like what I'm doing is being able to live the life that I want and can control, because my properties are paying for that. Okay. Very important as well is always have a good foundation when you're investing in property. In other words, a structure. That's something that we at Empire Wealth specialize in, as well as a long-term investment plan, right? If you don't know what you're working towards, how will you know where to start and the steps to take to get there? So that's a key thing, is knowing what is your why. What are you working towards? The financial number, but the financial number always enables you to do something, right? It's not about the money, it's about what the money gives you, number one. Number two is put a timeline to that, write it down, and work towards it. Okay. So, you spoke about some of the workshops and the coaching products out there. That's quite expensive. So what I've done is, because of the knowledge and skills that I've developed over time, is I'm busy right at this moment establishing and creating the Property Investors Academy, which is going to be video-driven education, right? I'm going to update like regular feedback videos and posts and so forth. And what you can do is, we'll probably launch within about a month. It's going to be a subscription model where you're only like paying 97 Rand a month, and then you'll have access to all the educational videos that myself and some of the property industry experts will be uploading. So you can visit Property Investors Academy, propertyinvestors.academy, and you can go and sign up, and you'll get a notification when that platform launches. And then just to finish off, Rita and TJ, where's TJ? Here you are. Hi TJ. Thank you so much for bringing this opportunity to the table. If it weren't for you, then we wouldn't be able to put this deal together and to unlock it. And then also to Paul and our other investors who've come on as investment partners. Congratulations, and thank you for enabling this for all of us to make this a big success. And what I'll also do is, we'll update regular content and information on how it's going, and especially in the Property Investors.Academy, I'm going to upload videos as we're finishing up this deal, and providing educational guidance around how we're putting this together. And have a fantastic day, and look forward to speaking to you afterwards. And remember, you're always one deal away, right? Just one deal away. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anton. Let me just fix this thing. Okay, so just a little bit more. I guess most of you guys found us on Facebook, right? I hear nothing.
Yes.
James, so I need some energy.
Hello, Bricks! Hello, Mortars! Hello, Bricks! Hello, Mortars! Hello, Bricks and Mortars! Hello, Rita!
Oh, I get no energy, but it's okay, it's fine. Alright guys, I want to quickly just, for the guys that don't know us, we are just a bunch of people. We are, like I mentioned before, we are rich dad babies. We've come from that background, and that's what we believe in. And what does rich dad teach you? Infinite returns, guys. So that's what we believe in, and that just means that you keep your debt in the bank, and your assets and your money and your actual assets outside of the bank. Right, so that's what we believe in, and we believe in passive income. So we don't do a lot of flips. We have done them, but we prefer to work once and get paid every month. We don't like to keep on working every month and just doing flips and then it's gone and then you have to start all over again. So that's who we are. This is me. I'm obviously a girl, based in Cape Town, and I also look after all the work we do in Tshwane. DJ looks after Gauteng and KZN. We're doing quite a lot of exciting student accommodation specific.